What?
Why are you shaking your head?
You're welcome. What's up? Welcome to the Week 17 edition of Matchup Points here at FantasyPoints.com. I'm John Hansen. Only one field today. Brett Whitefield, our guy Graham Barfield. I believe he's dealing with a little bit of a bout of the flu, but we're all good here. Our guy Trey is on the other side, keeping us on the air. Brett, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. I'm sure you're ready. It's a little bit of a weird week. I kind of did the VSiN show today. I like you black out for like a day, like whoa, and wake up and you're like, whoa, we're right back, and we got football tonight. How are you?
I'm doing good. Merry Christmas as well. And yeah, I totally forgot I had to work today. You know, I woke up this morning, I was like, oh my gosh, I got to go review some games from yesterday. This is crazy. So
yep. And you dial out of the NFL for like 5 hours, and then you go back and you're like, I don't know anything about what's going on right now, right?
Yes, the league that never sleeps.
It never sleeps. All right, well, we're not sleeping either, although we will be snoozing, I guess, pretty soon. We're coming down the home stretch here. It is the most important weekend in the history of fantasy football. Why? My contention has been it's always more popular as the years progress. So fantasy has never been more popular. Therefore, it's the most important weekend in the history of fantasy football. That is a running bit. That is probably also true. But we'll get into Seattle at Chicago tonight. And the game's kicking off in an hour, so I don't think we need to spend a ton of time here. I think everyone is rolling with Ken Walker. I kind of like Geno to make some noise here. I actually like Fanta Claus tonight. Noah Fant as a long shot play. But hey, I mean, look, the Bears D, Brett, they're not good. Like, they're not I've seen worse, but they have really kind of fallen apart here.
Yeah, it's hapless. They've mailed it in. We said it going into last week, and then they played the Lions, who have a great offense, just got steamrolled. I think the Lions took the gas or foot off the pedal, like, halfway through that game, and they still put up 35. So it's tough. I love you said you like Geno. I love Geno this week, man. He is a YOLO ball. He just doesn't care. He's going to throw it downfield no matter what. And Chicago is just hemorrhaging yards through the air downfield right now. I think Detroit hit them for 3 deep balls last week, 2 going for scores. Seattle's going to throw deep. DK Metcalf is going to have a premier matchup against Tyreek Stevenson mostly.
Yeah.
That's one of the best matchups of the week. So if you rode those guys to the championship, well, I doubt you rode Geno, but if you rode DK, this is a good spot for him. You're going to be happy about that.
Yeah, I didn't go in on his prop, which I should have. The catch prop was good, but what I did go in on was a DK tutty at plus 220, and I did that last week, and it hit. So I'm feeling another one here. Better schematic matchup for him for what it's worth against the cover 3. JSN, like, no one's sitting JSN, right? No. By the way, did you know that Noah Fant has 3 or more catches in 8 straight games? Some people don't even know he's in the NFL, but did you know that? I'm sure you did. I'm rhetorical.
No, I actually didn't know that. The Seattle
crazy.
Situation's always messy, so I lose track of who's who and who's doing what.
True, right? Yeah, that's true. Well, he did have some time missed there in between that. I don't think he went on IR, but yeah. So I mean, they have been gashed a little bit here. Laporta has gotten them for 3 tutties just in the last 4 weeks. So I'm feeling a little tutty here. My luck, it'll be freaking AJ Barner, who I believe scored last week, right?
Yeah, Barner looks good too, by the way.
He does.
Not playing this week, but
he looks like that traditional tight end. You know what I mean? Like blocker, but not just a blocker, basically. Any thoughts on the Bear? I mean, I noted that it's probably a little bit better of a matchup for Keenan Allen, even though they have a good slot corner, but they have been a little more giving there. But any thoughts on Allen, DJ Moore, Odunze? It's not the ideal matchup for Moore as it was last week.
Yeah, no, I like Keenan a lot. So Seattle's going to sit back. They're going to, like, last 5 weeks, they're playing zone over 70% of the time.
True.
Even though they got a decent slot corner, Keenan's still going to get nice matchups across the board. He's on fire too right now.
Right,
like,
he is.
He's playing well. His role has shaped out to be one of the best in the NFL. The last 6 games, 7th in the league in target share. I mean, that's kind of what we were hoping for at the beginning of the year. It took him a while to get there, but here we are.
Oh, I know. As I know, I should read my own article because I actually wrote up this game for Hansen since. I actually wrote up the other two games. I don't even know what got into me, but I'm like, you know what? I'll do it. But I have Allen is looking better than usual. I mean, so yeah, I like him too. And how about any about Swift? I mean, the one thing Seattle, you can run on them, and I do see Swift. I never liked him. I haven't liked him for 2 years, but he has had a couple of runs where like, all right, at least he's still bringing it.
Yeah, my only issue is it sometimes the run stuff is game script dependent, right? So
Right.
Seattle can put up points in a hurry, and we know the Chicago defense is on the struggle bus. So I will say too, Seattle has cleaned up the run defense a little bit recently. I think last 5 weeks, just 4.2 yards per carry allowed, which not amazing by any stretch, but also not. I think early in the year they're around 5, so that's a little bit of an improvement. So
one thing about him, Swift, is he tends to do the exact opposite of what we expect, basically, right? I mean, he's had a couple of bad matchups where he's come through, and he's had a couple of good ones, like, oh, this is it, and then he shits the bed, basically. All right, we can move on. And by the way, I'll put myself out on a limb here, and if AJ Barner freaking scores, I don't know what I'll do. I'll probably just laugh, but that's plus 1,000. Noah Fan is plus 475, which I thought was pretty good. He's due. He's due. He is Fanta Claus after all. And by the way, you laugh at Fanta Claus. Look at the numbers in week 17 last year. He had his best game of the season last year, week 17. And then the year before, I think he scored like 2-3 weeks in the playoffs. The Chargers at the Patriots. And first thing that jumps out to me, Brett, is man coverage, Ladd McConkey time, and it's a no on Quentin Johnston, who will get shadow coverage most likely.
Yeah, Quentin's going to catch the Christian Gonzalez shadow, so that's not great for him. Any matchup isn't great for him already, and then you're going to add a shadow to the mix. That's not good. So Ladd against the Patriots, man coverage. Jonathan Jones playing in the slot these days for the Patriots, and he's been a good corner through most of his career, but he does not look the same in the slot to me. I think he's a better outside corner.
Right.
That's a struggle spot for them, in my opinion. I think Ladd should have a great day. On the other side of it, John, I love Ramondre. His prop, 43.5, I think.
He looked great last week.
Yeah, that's my favorite prop of the week. He should smash that. People are still sticking to the Chargers being a good run defense because I think the first 5 weeks they've been horrible lately. 4.7 yards per carry allowed, 144 yards a game the last 5 weeks. So this is not a good run defense, and I think the Patriots have shown a consistent willingness to run the football, or at least try to.
Oh yeah.
Ramondre's prop, he's hit that prop. 43.5 yards is so low. He's hit that at least 3 weeks in a row. I think 5 out of the last 6. So to me, that's a slam dunk.
Looks like I wasn't a big Ramondre guy year one, actually. Year two, I was, though. The year after that, I took off, but I was back in this year, and I noticed he has worn down, but he's hasn't had quite the workload this year for whatever reason, and he's been fresher. I mean, he looked as fresh as he's looked all year last week. Now, the one thing that may be suppressing that prop is Gerard Mayo did talk about, like, oh, it's a possibility that he gets benched because he did fumble again last week. So,
yeah,
that's a problem. But again, like, really, I said today on the show jokingly, like, I have no say in the matter, but he's not getting benched. Why? Because Antonio Gibson stinks. I guess he's
paying Ramondre. So we're going to bench a guy you're paying like what, $7 million?
Right. Drake May. Chargers have given up passing touchdowns, multiples in 5 of their last 7. So to your point, like, I thought the run defense, a lot of it was Denzel Perriman, believe it or not. That used to be a cheat code back 8-9 years ago. Oh, what's that? Denzel Perriman's out? Yeah, start the running backs. Maybe that's been part of it, but they've just fallen off, period. Any thoughts here on Drake May? I mean, you got a little Hunter Henry. They play a lot of zone. I'm not so sure because they spread that ball around. You got freaking Booty out there making plays last week.
Yeah. Chargers, they're a weird pass defense because they're very opportunistic. They're very turnover focused. If they get the turnovers going, it's hard to throw on them, but they do give up a lot of yards in terms of volume. I think like 260 yards the last 5 or 6 games or so. It's not great, obviously. It just, how does New England attack it though? I don't really know the answer to that.
Right.
I think Drake's probably fine, I guess, if you have to use him just because of the rushing upside there. But
Yeah.
Not my favorite play, that's for sure.
Hey, when in doubt, I said this for literally 25 years. When in doubt, you might this time of the year, but you might as well go with a guy, high pedigree guy, arrow pointing up, all that, best football in front of him, athletic, toolsy, all that. It usually works out in the end for at least like 18 fantasy points, which, by the way, he's hitting 7 of his nine full starts. Denver at Cincinnati. When we look at the backfield, I'll start there. I got to default to Javonte again. And we'll see about Jaleel McLaughlin, but long story short, Bengals potent, higher scoring game. They give up plenty of catches, but clearly Audric Estime looks the part much more so. I don't know what it is, vision or lack thereof, but Estime seems to get 5-6 yards running inside, and Javante's just grinding for like 2 yards, it seems, most of the time.
Yeah, some of it I think is the situational football aspect. Like Javonte is more your early down guy.
Right,
He's getting he's getting some like second and long
delays, draws, maybe, or
and or even just a gap concept on 2nd and 10 has a better chance of hitting just because they're not really key and run there. So
gotcha.
That's some of it. I think he's getting a little more space into that. So
that makes sense because Javonte is out. How much of the game has fallen off? We love the guy. I did, at least, coming out. You did too, I believe. He is still good, but it has been weird. He doesn't get a lot of yardage on those damn catches, but they do add up like they did last week. Hey, Cortland Sutton, that roll with it. But I know last week you liked Franklin. That hit. I liked Valet. That touchdown hit, that was massive, but I'm not messing with these guys here, man. Sean Payton, forget it, right? Lucas Krull. Although I will say Troutman, don't be surprised if Troutman scores because it's the freaking Bengals and they suck against tight ends. But any other thoughts?
Yeah, the Bengals defense has just been so horrendously bad. Now, worse rush defense lately than pass defense. I don't know, man. They're tough. 270 yards a game allowed through the air the last 5 weeks. That's like near top of the NFL. So, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe you go Sutton if you're feeling it.
Oh, he's been pretty good though. He hasn't been crushing it lately. I guess he's leveled off a little bit, but we show it like as a neutral schematic matchup for what it's worth. And then for Joey B, we don't need you don't need us out there to tell you Joey B has had a brilliant freaking year. Chase, Higgins, Chase Brown, and Liss, right? What else do we need to say? There's nothing scary. Well, although the Denver Bronco defense has been great for the most part, they have fallen off a little bit.
Yep, they've fallen. They're still great defending the run, but you can throw on them a little bit. And then, Patrick Surtain is going to probably shadow T. Higgins. That's the way we're projecting it. We've been right about that. Other teams are shadowing T and not Jamar because Jamar is easy to hide. And anytime they get into a situation where they're playing a good corner, they figure out how to hide Jamar from him. So I think you're going to see Chase with just another monster game. If you rode him to the championship, you're feeling groovy about this matchup.
I did one of those pros versus Joes. It's unbelievable. I had a great team. I took Chase. I had the Chase Burrow stack, and I'm like middle of the pack over here, if you can believe that. It must have been like an injury or something. Yeah, freaking 9th place with this draft. Real quick here. I'm sorry. I got to call this crap up here. What the hell did I do here? I took Saquon. Oh, come on. Oh, Michael Pittman, Christian Kirk. Okay. J-Mo. All right. Oh, damn. So and then what happened was no one hit. The rest of my draft was shit. Marvin Mims, Ray Davis, Roschon, Ricky Pearsall, Bateman. That's not bad. McCarthy. All right.
Yeah, there's too many bricks in there, though.
Yeah, there's a lot of bricks. I'm a bit of a bricklayer on best ball teams. All right. Well, I think we can move on. Start Chase Brown. Might not get it on the ground. Yeah, like riveting analysis there. Yeah. But by the way, they give up receptions and yards. So it could be, I'm actually serious. He could catch like 8 or 9 balls in this game if they can't get it done on the ground. Cardinals at Rams. Oh, man. I was convinced that Marvin Harrison was going to go over 51 freaking yards, and I didn't watch the whole game. I didn't go back and look, so I'm talking out my you know what a little bit. But can this guy make a contested catch once in a while? Can this guy come back to the football and help his quarterback out once in a while? I mean, soft as tissue here. Am I crazy? What are your thoughts on this season by Marvin Harrison?
I definitely don't think that's the biggest issue going on in Arizona. That's for sure. But I will, you'd expect him to be a little more dominant at the catch point, I think. But I mean, we've talked about this ad nauseum on this show. Kyler's just broken, man. This is
that
tough,
bad, huh?
It's a tough situation to watch. Now they can run the football with the best of them, and the Rams are bad against the run.
Yeah,
I just don't know who's going to be carrying the rock this week, right? Connor's hurt, and then isn't Trey Benson hurt as well?
Yeah, he missed last week, but I believe he is supposed to come back. And then that Connor has actually been trending toward a return. I could see if we have it in terms of what he did today, but it's not going to matter until we get through Friday. So we're recording this on Thursday night, but he was trending toward a return. So maybe barring a setback, we'll have to. This is a Saturday game, by the way. So we should hold on a second because we should know that. Where are we at here? Well, limited practice all week, so I guess he's probably playing, and same with Benson.
Well, that's great then if you're a James Conner owner, because it's a good matchup for him. And you can't. Kyler Murray's so unpredictable right now. It's unbelievable. It's
okay. Yeah,
even Trey McBride fell off a cliff against the Panthers. Like that's hard to do.
That is hard to do. That is very true. And credit to the Panther D, they have gotten better. But so how much of Trey McBride's production is just Kyler just spinning out there and just running around and finding them?
It's a lot of that, a lot of scramble drill stuff. I mean, McBride looks awesome. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
but, it's definitely just the connection there. It's just Kyler improvising and then doing what he does. So
it is a good matchup though for McBride schematically. The Rams have been quite giving here to tight ends. They run cover 3 a lot. He's at 3 yards. They run the seventh highest rate. He's at 3 yards per route run against cover 3, 6 for 67 in that game. And, again, Marvin, this is a spot. Marvin erupted, but it's just like, planetary alignment. If I get a clean release and I get separation and Kyler has time to throw and it's blocked up well and the route works and the timing of the play is good and Kyler can see me and he throws you know what I mean? Like you need perfection for this. Well, it's like a sports car that it's so nice you can't even let it rip with the thing.
Well, to your point too, the first game that all of Harrison's production came on 2 busted plays.
Exactly.
He had a 60-yard scramble drill play where he literally wasn't covered. So
right.
I don't know.
Yeah, man. It's brutal. It is absolutely brutal. But Roma Dunze, I mean, I'm not going to say it now, but I feel a lot better about Roma Dunze going forward than I do Marvin Harrison. Again, maybe it's hard to grade with Kyler. What were we going to say?
I think Marvin looks fine, to be honest with you.
Okay.
We did a segment on this on my podcast. It's
all right.
It's all play calling and Kyler to me. I think Marv looks fine though.
I got frustrated by the fact that at the late in the game, he had a play on 3rd down and it was a contested catch situation. And I think he would have hit the prop if he came back to the ball and fought for it, and he didn't. But
yeah, I get it.
Maybe that's partly like, why am I bothering here at this point? I mean, I get that a little bit. I'd rather have it Amon-Ra St. Brown who's just going to go balls to the wall no matter what. That guy's a hero out there compared to some of these other dudes. So the Cardinal running game, by the way, they ran all over the Rams in the first matchup too. And by the way, where the hell are we with the Rams? They're going to run it for sure. But their passing game and Cooper Kupp, it is a little weird how some weeks they just do whatever they want. And some weeks they run into a brick wall.
Yeah. This offense is so consolidated. It's crazy. I mean, it's not even Cooper anymore. It's Puka and Kyren Williams. It's like, I think Puka's hitting 40% target share the last 3 weeks or something. It's ridiculous. It's like so crazy. I mean, if you couldn't get a better matchup for these guys going into your fantasy football championship if you have them, right? Puka against this Cardinal secondary that's just awful. I feel like they're giving up 105 passer rating against the last 5 games, 73% completion rate. So like these low ADOT, high yak opportunity plays they give Puka Nacua, these should all hit this week. I mean, this is a great matchup for him. And then furthermore, Kyren Williams, I mean, Arizona's run defense has been pathetic, legitimately pathetic. Last 5 weeks, 5.1 yards per carry allowed, 133 yards per game. So both these guys should go off. I'm worried about Cooper Kupp though. I don't know that this is the matchup for him.
I mean, Garrett Williams will be out there. He's good. Right? He's one of the top slot corners out there. Puka, we'll see a little Sean Murphy bunting, and then that Starling Thomas is actually kind of settled into being pretty decent out there. But yeah, Cooper Kupp, I'm in the Fantasy Points Dynasty Finals against Paul Kelly, and you'd be damn sure I'm using Cooper Kupp because my alternatives are Jermaine Burton or Johnny Mingo. Okay, so I'm going Kupp or bust on that puppy. Next game is the Week 17 Fantasy Points Final Points live stream here on the website, along with me, John Hansen, and Brett Whitefield. The Jets at the Bills, as we've kind of outlined here. Aaron Rodgers out there stat padding with his boy. I'm not so sure about this one here this week. Although, where are you with the Bills defense? Because they, were really stingy, but not as stingy on the outside lately.
Yeah, so I kind of briefly touched on this a couple of weeks ago, I think, but there's been a massive tendency shift for Buffalo over the last few weeks. This used to be, going back 3-4 years, this was a defense that had no interest in stopping the run. They didn't care. They'd play 6 DBs more than anyone in the league. They'll line up, they'll let you run the football, and then stop you when you get to the red zone. That is not what they do anymore. They have made a concerted effort the last 5 games to stop the run. They're playing 3 linebackers more than they ever have in the Sean McDermott era. They are playing single high on early downs pretty much exclusively, bringing that extra safety into the box, and they're selling out to stop the run, and it's cost them in pass defense. They're getting hit on play action a lot. They're getting hit some early down passing, 273 yards a game allowed. I know a lot of that was the Detroit game. The week before, though, the Rams lit them up as well. Drake May lit them up in the first half last week. So this is a consistent trend now, John. We've got 5 weeks of good data suggesting the Bills' pass defense is cracking it a little bit. And I just think it's how aggressive they've become in trying to stop the run. So they've sacrificed, some pass defense in order to stop the run a little bit. They're trying to become a more physical football team, I think, is what it is. And man, take advantage while you can, because they're exploitable for sure.
Is that coinciding with like getting the linebacker back whose name? What's his name? Matt Milano.
Yep, they got two linebackers healthy. They also have Dorian Williams, and those guys all like to thump. So, yep.
Yeah. So you're okay with Rodgers here? I mean, he did well in the first matchup.
Yeah, I'm okay with Rodgers and Devontae.
Right.
Devontae's share right now is ridiculous. It's like 30% the last 6 games. I mean, it's unreal. So Rodgers is just gunning him down, looking for his boy. So I like those guys. I don't know about Garrett Wilson. He's a hard one to predict for me right now.
I mean, Amon-Ra killed him 2 weeks ago in the slot, 14 for 193. Cooper Kupp even got him for 5 for 92 in week 14. That was his last good game. That's where Devontae's been lining up here a little bit more. Yeah, he looks the same. It's kind of like, in a way, it's kind of like Adam Thielen. It's like there was never any great speed to lose with Adams, right?
That definitely has never really been a part of his game. Route running, and just he's a hard dude to tackle. That's his game right there. Back shoulder, just to catch stuff, and then get after it after
body control. Hand-eye coordination is elite, ridiculous. Yep. I kind of feel good about Breece Hall, though. I mean, Ramondre did run well on Buffalo last week.
Yeah, he did right early in the game, and then as the game got away, it kind of went away. But yeah, it's tough because the Jets just are so bad running the football.
They are.
They do. Let's see. They do give up a lot of points to backs that catch the ball, though.
Yeah, and Breece caught 5 balls last week. He had the best snap share since week 11. He's not on the injury report. I mean, what the hell are we doing over here if we have Brees Hall and we're not using him in the playoffs? I get, but I do get it though. It's kind of like Keenan Allen. It's like the dude is literally averaging 20 fantasy points a game in his last 4, and we're still like, should I start him?
Right.
You
I have
know
to
what I
make
mean?
a decision between Brees Hall and Bucky Irving, which we'll get to against Carolina.
Oh, I'm going Bucky all day.
Yeah, so I'll be the guy benching my first round pick in the fantasy championship. Unbelievable stuff.
Sometimes you forget the name of the back of the uniform when you're comparing him to a guy who's been killing him. I mean, it'd be one thing to start him over Alexander Madison over,
Right.
you know what I mean? But Bucky has been freaking killing it, and their running game's unbelievable. Yeah, we'll get to that. I'm not so sure about the Bills here. I'm very worried all of a sudden about just too many dudes here, man. I know Shakir's been a mainstay, but you got Keon Coleman and Kincaid back. I mean, Allen's just doing whatever the hell he wants to do, spread it around. Maybe Amari Cooper rejoins the fun here, but certainly the Jets D, they're kind of packing it in too here. They're not that good. And Michael Carter, let's see if he's going to play because he was out last week. But any thoughts here on Buffalo? Anything jump out to you other than, I guess, James Cook is awesome, although the Jets' run defense has been pretty good.
Yeah, Buffalo's tough in the pass game. Now, I think you're right. There's too many dudes. So, for one, they play a lot of 12 personnel. So, if they have Kincaid and Knox, so that takes a receiver off the field. And then
100%.
for 2, they're basically rotating 4 receivers now with Shakir, Cooper, Hollins, and Coleman. All those guys at times can produce, right? Now, Coleman seems to be the odd man out right now. I think Hollins is still playing more snaps than him, but still, it's like any given week, one of those guys might spike. And then to make it worse, their target share leader week to week might be 21%, 22%. So even when they do have a guy, it's like he's barely a guy.
Totally. Sauce Gardner out of practice so far. No, DNP Wednesday and Thursday with a hamstring, and then Michael Carter was a LP after a DNP. So maybe he returns, but maybe Sauce doesn't play. So we shall see about that. James Cook's freaking awesome. I mean,
yeah. I didn't see that coming. I mean, I was loving Ray Davis in the preseason just because I thought he'd have a real opportunity to take some of this workload, and Cook just won't give it to him. It's just, he's been awesome, man.
Yeah, no, he was on my list. So was Ray, by the way. But we were sharing a brain on that one with Ray. Actually, we were wrong. It never really materialized just because Brady's good and like they made that trade and they're very multiple. I wasn't totally way over on Cook, but he was on my target list. I ranked him at 39. His ADP was 42, but he was on my target list for sure.
Did they trade for Cooper? Was that after week 6?
Oh yeah.
So they started the season as like a power run, man gap, punch you in the face scheme, and then they've completely flipped. Their pass rate over expectation since the Cooper trade is like through the roof. I think second in the NFL, just below Cincinnati. So you're right. They're multiple. They can do a variety of things with a variety of personnels. That makes it really hard to predict what the receivers are going to do. But we do know that James Cook is going to eat. So
yeah, and Brady is emerging now as he's good, which is bad because he's just out there like a mad scientist. It starts to feel like to me now. Like he's like, oh, look at this, so he's really good. So he'll beat you in different ways. They're gearing up for a run here for sure. And it's great news for Josh Allen, but I have to say I don't love Shakir here, and I didn't love him last week, by the way. Against these are two more man heavy teams, right? I know Shakir's been okay against man, but I don't love this.
If Carter's out, that makes me feel a little better. If he plays, I'm a little hesitant on Shakir for sure.
Gotcha. Tennessee at Jacksonville, and well, I guess we're with Tennessee. I was on Chiggy Okonkwo. I played his prop, and
you're nuts.
Oh yeah, I was on that. I played the touchdown prop and Chiggy. I mean, he crushed the yardage one, but he almost scored. He scored a 2-point conversion, which of course I walked in the room and I was like, yes, and then freaking 2-point conversion because that was like plus 380. No, it was plus like 480. But man, I know he is a tease and he drifts in and out of the lineup here, but I do think Mason Rudolph and Chiggy has something there. And I don't see why you would shy away from Calvin Ridley in this spot too, in a revenge game, right?
Yeah.
Anything else here? I mean, not the time to try and get cute with Nick Westbrook at Keenan, but he did score again last week.
Yeah, I can't do it. I mean,
nah, I hear you.
I don't mind Ridley in this game.
Yeah, Jacksonville playing a man coverage, and he kills man coverage, averaging 3 yards per route run.
Yeah, and Jacksonville's back to playing man more than any team in the NFL too. Not just, they're not just mixing it in, like it's their go-to, especially early downs. They're all man coverage. So, yeah, I like Ridley. I like BTJ on the other side. Like, to me, those are the two guys, Ridley and BTJ. Just keep playing.
Right. Yeah, I'm not sure I like Chiggy against man though. Right.
Yeah, he's so good after the catch. That's where his strength is. So he kind of does need that saggy zone to catch the balls underneath and roll with it. So
yeah, well, to that point, it is not the most wonderful schematic matchup for him, but I still think he'll catch like 4 balls. But yeah, I don't like him nearly as much as last week for sure. Yeah, BTJ, man, unbelievable how great he has been. Not the greatest matchup here, by the way, but we're not shying away here. I guess let's see about Tony Pollard, because our guy Spears, man, that was another one of my prop wins. I had a anytime touchdown. It was only plus 130, yet I was convinced he was scoring. Hell, he scored twice. He's looked really good, and Pollard has been a DMP the last 2 weeks here. So if they decide to hold Pollard out, man, look out for our guy Tajay Spears.
Yeah, Tajay, what he can do in the pass game is like what Jahmyr Gibbs can do in the pass game. I don't know why it's taken them a while to figure that out. Very frustrating. But like give this guy 6-7 targets a game, please.
Well, that is as they say. I mean, or it's one of the things I've learned over the decades is the one of the good tip-offs on the awesomeness of a offense coordinator, the acumen, is getting that running back out there in space and making plays. That's a pretty good litmus test, don't you think?
Absolutely.
You know who wasn't great at that, and I still loved? Norv Turner.
Yeah, that's because he was old school 7-step drop.
Exactly. Yeah, like he didn't utilize Darren Sproles.
Yeah,
right. Who knew? But I do love me some Norv. All right, let's move on to. There's nothing else there. We're not playing Parker freaking Washington for the ship. Green Bay, Minnesota, baby. I think this will be finally a shootout here. Finally.
Fine.
Not that I'm backing any of the damn Packer receivers, because I died like a dog again this past week with Romeo Dobbs. Freaking couldn't hit 40 freaking yards because it was such a lopsided game. I should have known better, but I thought it would take a couple shots, get going for the playoffs. But this would be, and they probably should have, because this might be an aerial shootout here. Total of 50. Love crushed them on 54 attempts. Think about the numbers. If Love was throwing it 40 times a game, oh my God, it'd be so beautiful. But we're not getting that because freaking Mr. Perfect over there, LaFleur, has got it all figured out. He's becoming an enemy, though. He's becoming too good at this point. Now we got Musgrave in the mix here, Brett.
Oh, I know. It's tough. The data says that this should be a huge game for Dontavian Wicks, right? With Watson out. I can't do it though, John. I've retired. I told you I've retired from predicting this. So
you're right.
Jordan Love, the first time these two teams played, Jordan Love was hurt. Like badly.
Right. True.
Barely looked like the same guy.
True.
I suspect he's ready for blood. So
yeah. And you could throw on the Vikings. They might get to him a little bit. They might pick him off here. Is Watson been fully filled out? I know he's a DMP. He probably won't play. Yeah, he might not have been officially ruled out, but he's not. He's trending toward not playing.
Yeah, when you're getting tested for season-ending injuries, I have a hard time believing you're going to run it back the next week.
Right.
They did get good news on him, but I can't see him playing. That would be crazy.
It is a big game. For what it's worth, but yeah. I know teams don't think that way necessarily, especially when they have the depth that they have. But yeah, any thoughts on Who does have the best matchup? I'm going to say, I hate to say it, but I'm going to have to say Jaden Reed. I'm going to have to say it.
Schematically, it's Jaden Reed for sure. Production trends, it is Wicks, because every time Watson misses, Wicks leads the team in target share. I don't know why that is, but
right.
So,
well, Wicks did get
Reed.
He had a huge game in the first meeting. 5 for 78, 2 tutties, 13 targets. Dobbs isn't a bad option. I mean, just got to get some volume here. Like, what is Dobbs? If Dobbs gets 9 targets in this game, he's getting 60 yards.
Yeah.
50, 60.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and you know what's nice is you can't really run on the Vikings. Now, I don't know. Jacobs is running through everybody right now, but
right, exactly.
Vikings run defense is good, though. That should push Packers towards a heavier pass game script. So,
and they have been pretty good, Minnesota, against tight ends, for what it's worth. Of course, that probably doesn't mean crap against Kraft, who by the way did well, 6 for 53. I'll tell you, by the way, who I am feeling here. You ready? Are you ready for?
I don't know.
T.J. Hawkinson blow up. That's what I'm saying here. Like blow up, like $125, like 100 yards in a tutty game. What do you think here? Packers give up the numbers. He got him last year for, I think it was like 8 for 80 and a touch. I'm feeling that one.
Yeah, you know how I feel. You can attack the Packers in the middle of their defense, so go for it.
Yeah.
John, I got to mention we got a super chat here. Roger Pelton. Half PPR need to flex Addison, London, Cup, Madison, or Kendrick Miller. My God,
just one, huh?
I'd say probably. Well, I'll let you pick. You're more the.
Well, I would go London if he's playing.
Yeah.
Addison,
London's out.
I mean, Addison if London's out. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what I would go. By the way, let me see here with London. What did he do today? Well, he's limited, so we'll see. He's limited. Would you rather have London? Maybe he's not limited, but he was limited all week, so potentially limited, or full go Addison.
If there's a chance he's limited, I'd probably go Addison. Yeah. Especially this is the Vikings want to win this game because they want to get the 1 seed in.
True.
Yeah, this is a have to have it kind of game. So,
all right. Well, I'll tell you what, we'll use Drake London's practice on Friday as the decider.
Yeah,
if it's a full go. By the way, while we're talking Vikings, a good friend of mine, Paul Charchian, who's been up in Minnesota, like an industry friend guy. He's the only guy. He's one of like less than 5 people who have been doing this as long as me. In fact, I think he's got me by a year or 2. There's like 2 dudes. He's one of them who have me by a year or 2. Lifelong Viking guy. Of course, he's a fantasy guy because he knows he's never going to win a freaking real Super Bowl, so he gets a fake one. But his position is like the Vikings really need to seriously re-sign Sam Darnold. I'm like, no, man, no. It seems like half the fan base, and you've been critical all year, but half the fan base is convinced that Sam Darnold is him. And I'm like, no, he's just in a great system with great coaches calling very good plays. And that's it, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's definitely most of it. I would say this for that conversation. I don't think the Vikings should sign. JJ McCarthy's a phenomenal quarterback. You guys are going to love him. But for another team, like if you're the 49ers, would you rather have Brock Purdy at $55 million a year or Sam Darnold at $35 million per year?
True. Yeah. Hey,
that's similar. That's a question we're talking about. And so,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Although Purdy's processing is way better than Sammy's, I think.
Oh, absolutely. Doesn't take the god awful sack.
And he doesn't have a panic attack every time he has to roll out and he's pressured like Sam.
John, real quick, Trey wants me to get to these other super chats. We've never had this many super chats on the Thursday show. TX Breeder 83, May, Sharbs, or Penix at Superflex. I would say May. I don't know about you.
Charbs. I mean, Charbonnet. I would say Charbonnet might have a little more upside if you needed it. But generally you default to the quarterback, and I think May is going to be good for 15, 16 points, and that's probably about what Charbonnet is going to get. In fact, that's what I still do projections, by the way. My rankings on the site, Granted, it's not. I don't go as in depth as I used to, but I got Charbonnet with 15.4 points, and I have May with 17. There you go.
Ooh. Yeah, I like May for the floor because I do think he's got a little more upside potential and he's got a nice floor there. So John D. Seattle team against team.
Oh man,
I don't know.
well,
Who are
Seattle D tonight?
the Saints? I probably Raiders D, right? Because they're playing the Saints.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh well. Let's see who we have higher because I did retire from handicapping defenses. Sorry, I had to do that because them and the kickers. I'm like I'm done here. I remember the '90s and 2000s when it was actually predictable defenses. Let's see. Oh, we got the Raiders at 4. So the answer is the Raiders. We got 3 sacks. Oh, Spencer Rattler's brutal. I mean, the whole offense is brutal. I mean, it's brutal. It's one of the worst I've seen. All right. Well, we're all starting the big 4. Well, we might not all be starting Addison, but I mean, we're all looking pretty damn good here, I think. And, it's the Packers are not a sieve by any stretch. I don't think they're a shutdown D. Jair Alexander, they've had to go with a lot more zone, I guess, without him, right? And he's what is he doing? Like, does he even care?
I don't know. It's his season has been very weird, and then to make it worse, the guy on the other side, Eric Stokes, can't play football. John, he's been bad.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
definitely attackable through the air. When
feels like some quiet quitting going on there with Jair. I don't want to talk about what, but that's what it feels like.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe is he in a contract situation? I don't know, but
I think he's had there's some sort of schism there.
Okay. We got another super chat. Chase Brown or Zach Charbonnet?
Ooh.
Charbs has got the better matchup, but Chase has just been so locked in, man. It's hard to go away from him.
Yeah, I'm going Chase Brown because he should catch 8 balls, honestly.
Yes.
Especially
with that Broncos pass rush. So
let's see what they're giving up.
Here. 2 points of completion, 6-point TD, Herbert, Love, or Williams.
Oh, Love all day. Forget about it. I mean, no hesitation. That was my guy. And you know what? I stand by it. That was a good call, honestly. Yeah. When you consider the fact that he was like the freaking 9th quarterback off the board, that was kind of the pick. It should be. But what are you going to do?
If he doesn't get hurt, things are way different too.
Way different. Yeah. And at least he hasn't been bad. It's just a damn lack of opportunity. They changed it up midstream. They freaking changed their identity.
Yep.
All right. Well, Raiders, Saints.
Gross, man.
This is nasty. I mean, I don't think we should even address the Saints, but I like Madison to get volume here. And
Madison or Bowers, man.
Yeah, Bowers. Yeah.
You like Jacoby at all in this?
The Saints play Alontae Taylor out there, and he's pretty good.
He's much better in the slot, though. He's been getting beat up a little bit since he's been on the outside.
True. But looks like Myers has been lining up in the slot again. So he'd be up against that Amadi guy who gave up a big play last week, I believe.
Yeah, Ugo Amadi's a journeyman slot corner. I think he's legit played snaps for 7 different NFL teams or something crazy. So
Myers, I mean, it's difficult because it's a week-to-week proposition with a bad quarterback, but he is coming off a down game here. But hey, I mean, it's a good matchup. McLaurin got him 2 weeks ago for 2 tutties. And I do like Myers. I mean, I say you lean on the body of work here. It's been good.
Yeah, that's fair.
And then for the Saints, we're going to lean on the body of work by ignoring them. And although Kendre Miller, I don't know, it's not even a good matchup for Kendre Miller.
Yeah. No, Raiders have been turning it on a little bit too. I don't know what it is with them playing better in the final 5 weeks of the season than the rest of the season. They did this last year too.
Yeah, they did. And created some optimism.
Yeah.
Which quickly went away like halftime of week 1.
Top 10 run defense the last 5 weeks for them. So
let's go to Indy at the Giants, and shout out to my guy Jonathan Taylor. I needed a lot of points to beat the grinder Tom Brawley in the Fantasy Points Dynasty semis last week. I mean, a lot, because he scored freaking 169, and thanks to Taylor, I got 176 and I emerged victorious. I mean, what a day. And this doesn't happen to me. I don't usually I have actually the worst luck ever. So, and it's always been the case, which has made me better over the decades because I know deep down, like I got to be extra good because my luck is shit. It never happens, but Taylor got a big day for me and I think he'll do it again. I think I'm feeling another like 150-yard game here for JT.
Yeah, I agree with that, man. The Giants are, oh my gosh, just brutal rush defense. They have been all year, and then they lost Dexter Lawrence. It got even worse. Yeah, I agree with you, man. You gotta ride with it. Oh, and it just seems like too the Colts, their rushing attack is finally clicking. They've got this. It took a while to get Richardson kind of.
Hey, Ryan Kelly back helped.
Yeah, Ryan Kelly helped. But just the consistency now with Richardson as a runner, I think is really
right.
It's a threat you have to pay attention to. What they were doing early in games is like, oh, Richardson will get 5 carries in the first 2 drives, and then we won't do it again the rest of the game. And teams knew that, and so they weren't paying attention to it. Now it's like, oh, we're gonna sprinkle it in through the whole game. You got to honor it. Got to commit that extra body to the box to stop Richardson, and then that leaves holes for JT.
Yeah, it's like Shane Steichen. It's like, dude, you came from Philadelphia.
Right.
Like
you should know how to do this. Yeah.
Like look at Mr. Hurts. You know, like in another situation, we might be saying Jalen Hurts isn't very good. Quite frankly, although he has been better here this year. But yeah, I guess Richardson was iffy to play, and Joe Flacco, I guess, took most of the reps, I guess, today. But I think Richardson is trending toward playing, but we wouldn't mind Burrow Flacco for our guy Josh Downs. But hey, every time, by the way, I doubt Downs because he's with Richardson, he freaking does something. Like last week, he scored.
Yeah. You know what's really frustrating is figuring out the target share. Like Michael Pittman,
it is tough.
It's weird. Michael Pittman clearly leads them in target share, but he's never, or at least the last 6-7 weeks, but he never leads them inside of a game. He's like always number 2, and then number 1 kind of fluctuates depending on what they're doing. So, good schematic matchup for Alec Pierce though. If you like deep balls, Deontay Banks has been beat up pretty good this year, especially giving up a lot of deep balls. So, and we know Pierce is there. He's due too, right? He hasn't had a big deep ball game.
I will say Pittman though does pretty well, believe it or not, against single high too. It's not bad. Well, I guess 1.65 yard per route run isn't that great. I guess that's below average. I guess he has looked a little bit better to me, but it's tough, man. It's tough. And then the Giants have actually been somewhat stingy in the slot, out of the slot. Yeah, but I'm using Josh Downs. I don't think he's a must start, but I'm freaking using him because, well, my alternative is John Mingo, somebody like that. Dory Jackson out there. I mean, are we scared of Adoree Jackson? Although it seems like is he playing all right, Adoree, or is it just not a bigger sample size?
He's relatively okay in man coverage. But when you get him into the zone, that's when things get messy. And and the Giants mix it up. They'll have game scripts where they play a lot of man, but for the most part, they're middle of the pack, man zone split. So
yeah, I could see Pierce though, alignment wise on Banks too, and he's given up pretty big numbers. And then I guess Malik Neighbors himself said basically it's going to be a game time decision. So we'll see about that. But when you watch Drew Lock, I mean, do you have any semblance of confidence? I guess at least compared to Tommy Cutlets, you do, right? For as it relates to Malik Neighbors.
It's hard.
Yeah, I know.
It's hard, man. I mean, Neighbors is getting such a workload. It's like you can't come off of him, John.
I mean, it's not like Spencer Rattler the other night.
Like Spencer Rattler,
yeah. Close though.
It's weird to say I wish they had Daniel Jones still playing, but
yeah. Yeah. No, I can see that. All right. Well, I think we're good. Well, Tracy too, DMP with an ankle, so keep an eye on that.
Yeah, from what I heard, that doesn't sound good, but I'm not an insider by any means. I've heard that that's not good. So
yeah. Well, he did win that prop for me last week. It was like ridiculous. It was like over 3.5. I'm like, what are we doing here? Was it a trap? He did get it. Colts have been pretty good against the run, but they do give up catches to running backs. But again, that could be Singletary, I guess, if Tracy can't go, obviously. And I wouldn't play with Wandale. Colts are pretty good against the slot all year.
Colts give up so they are good against the run down for down, but they have the second highest explosive run rate allowed the last 6 games. That's Tracy's specialty. He's got the juice. So if he does go, it's a good spot to hit a big one. But
all right. Well, moving onward and upward here, the Week 17 edition of Matchup Points. I think we're making pretty good time here. I'm John Hansen. He's Brett Whitefield. Our guy, Graham Barfield. A little case of the flu over here. Carolina at Tampa. Bucky Irvin, baby. I mean, Bucky and Rashad, they're going to run for 200 in this with 2 tutties.
You know what's crazy, John? I think it was fair to call me a Bucky hater in the preseason leading up to the season. And I'm in 6 fantasy championships, and I have Bucky Irving on all 6 of those teams.
That's crazy.
But despite me being a hater, I still collected shares of him, but I am riding that man all the way to the finish line here. So let's go. And this is you couldn't ask for a better matchup week championship week here with Carolina's given up 2,700 rushing yards this year, John.
And Bucky is just playing a lot bigger than I thought he would in the NFL. I mean, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. He's playing bigger than I envisioned.
Did you hear Liam Cohen talking about him this week?
No.
He was just gushing over him. Just like this dude. The thing that I love about him is that whoever the first guy is in the hole, Bucky makes him miss no matter what.
And that's my deal.
Yep.
100%.
Doesn't matter how big the guy is, Bucky will make him miss. And Liam Cohen is so good, man. He took this finesse pass game team to a power run. They're averaging 180 rushing yards a game the last 7.
He's phenomenal.
They're the second best rush offense in the NFL over that time. And the 5 other teams with them in the top 6 all have Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, Jaden Daniels, all the running quarterbacks, Anthony Richardson. And they're getting it done with Baker Mayfield and Bucky Irving. And this is just incredible what they've done. It
is incredible. I even went as far to say on VSiN this week or very recently, I'm like, hey, no offense to Todd Bowles. Seems like a great guy. I'm sure he's forgotten more football than I'll ever know. But if I'm a Bucs fan, well, number one, I want to tell Liam Cohen that the next time we make a head coaching change, you're the freaking guy. And number 2, I wouldn't mind it if Todd Bowles decided, you know what, I'm going to enjoy my life a little bit and retire. Cause Liam Cohen is him, as the kids say.
Throughout NFL history, you've seen that happen from time to time where a head coach will step aside for the coordinator. And the most recent example is Tampa Bay when Bruce Arians stepped aside for one Todd Bowles. So now Bowles needs to return the favor. We just talked about this on the First Read podcast as well, John. Same conversation. So we're right there.
There you go. Yeah. And I'm blown away. I feel so old because my son graduated from UMass and missed Liam Cohen by like 2 years.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, damn. Now that's old. Okay. That is old. Anyways, any thoughts here? I mean, Carolina's D has tightened up, but then again, Big Mike usually crushes them.
Yeah, big Mike does.
I don't know about McMillan here, though. I will say that it's not a good schematic. Boy, that's a tough call because I've been giving him so much love and he's been freaking awesome. But any thoughts there on McMillan?
No, not a ton of McMillan. I do like Big Mike. I've kind of been. I guess the Buccaneers are at a point where you play him if you have him. I guess, but
yeah.
I've been looking at this game more from the Panthers' perspective. I think this is a great spot for Bryce Young. Buccaneers lead the NFL in zone coverage rate. Right. Bryce is averaging half a fantasy point per dropback against zone. That's against man. Sorry. Oh.
Well, he was good against man early in the career, and then not as good lately, right?
Yeah, I don't know how I flipped that. That's So this is not a good schematic matchup for Bryce. Buccaneers play so much zone, and Bryce is exclusively beating man right now. He's been pretty bad against zone.
Okay, so we're back to that.
Just 4 yards per attempt against zone. That's really bad. So
yeah, that is not good. We do show that as against man, he's at like 0.48 fantasy points per drop back. Against cover 2, half of that. Yeah. And cover 3, it's not awful, 0.37. Yeah, but he did get it done a little bit in that first game, passing for, he did on the ground, 298/1, 3 carries, 17 with a touch. And he is going to get Leggett back. Yeah, I mean, I think he's risky, but you could certainly do worse. I don't know about Thielen. I've been right on Thielen the last couple of weeks here. The data is okay on Thielen. I mean, I guess I prefer him against man, right? But he's probably fine against anything.
Yeah, he's got the route running chops to beat whatever. I think traditionally he's been good against zone, but with Bryce specifically, he's been better against man.
50% they play a lot of cover 3. He's pretty good. Yeah,
because they play a lot of cover 3, like fire cover 3. So like a ton of blitzes, which probably could help Thielen too. So
yeah.
The only problem is Bryce is also terrible against the blitz. So
right. Let's see what data we have. Oh, here it is. Yeah. Buccaneers lead the NFL in zone. He averages 0.50. That's that's not good. Thielen sees a 36% reduction against zone. Okay, that's probably why I was just felt not great about Thielen. I just kind of was like, I haven't really totally homed in on it, but I'm like, I don't know about it. Yeah. But Thielen does get a 63% boost on the blitz. So maybe he catches a couple of balls, as Bryce Young's getting a blitz. Anyways, here, Buccaneers are perimeter funnel. I'm not messing with Leggett. I still like Leggett, though. What do you think? Is he a good buy low?
Yeah, for Dynasty, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Big Leggett guy.
Because we're going to have Canales back. We're going to have the continuity. And I would have presumed that Bryce Young's back, right?
Yep, he's definitely done enough to get the call for sure.
And by the way, I know someone who knows someone who's kind of in that building, and I just happened to find a text that somebody sent me that I didn't even see in September. And it was like, yeah, they're worried that Bryce Young's broken, blah, blah, blah. And I was probably right around when they benched him. And I guess, well, now they're not worried anymore because he fixed himself, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, he got out there and, just better offense, better blocking. It was better environment than last year. And then for, I think we're good. I think we've covered that damn game ad nauseum. Miami at Cleveland. A little Tyreek Hill action here, Brett. Sure seems like schematically this would be a good spot for him.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I don't even care what coverages the Browns want to try to play. Their corners stink, John. Yeah. They got Denzel Ward and then a bag of balls. I mean, it's
now, is that scheme or do they actually stink?
It's so weird because you expected this defense to be awesome, right? And they've just really let us down in coverage this year. So, they're playing a lot more man, I think, than people are used to. But Martin Emerson is just not doing it. They play a lot of this weird trail coverage, or they'll play like a split zone where the boundary corners and man everywhere he goes, and everyone else is playing zone. And Emerson and Ward and then even Newsome, they're just getting beat up, man. Like
it's almost like they're trying to give up. They're trying to help it's like they're giving it to him almost.
It feels that way. Any offense that has a lot of crossing routes built in just tears them apart. So like all these trail man concepts are just getting nuked on. So I don't.
Sounds like Tyreek Hill to me.
Exactly.
Browns are a deep funnel, allowing the second most receiving yards on throws 20 or more yards down the field. Now the one thing is they do have that good pass rush, but what is the deal with Myles Garrett? He's always hurt, right? Always on the injury report.
He's not on the injury report this week.
Oh, okay. All right. Cool. Could have sworn he got hurt last week. I must have dreamt that. Well, David Njoku, by the way, is not looking good here. But and then the other one was Waddle. He was a limited practice today, so maybe he plays. The one guy I'm not feeling is Jonnu in this one. But then again, for most, like, what are you doing? Sitting him? But
ever since we finally figured out that Jonnu is the guy, he has not been the guy. So
right, exactly.
Most Jonnu thing ever.
Yeah, I totally, absolutely right. That it was like a week after we decided he was the guy.
Yep.
I asked you, I'm like, does the offense go through Jonnu now? And you're like, yeah. Now that I think about it. And then he had that whole freaking game without a catch, and then he did well in the OT. Devon Achane. Any Jerome Ford thoughts? Or I that's it, right? I mean, it was our worst fears confirmed last week with Jerry Jeudy.
Yeah. Well, what quarterback are we getting this week? Is there a chance we get James? Is it going to be DTR?
I don't think so. No, I think it's DTR.
Because I know DTR left that game injured. I was just kind of hoping. Yeah, that stinks, man. Because Judy was a league winner type, and then the quarterback swap just kills him. That just
it's
really
hopeless. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's official, but let's see here. I mean, I guess they're both limited, so like we'll see. But I'm pretty sure that it's trending back toward DTR.
Okay. Then I'm out. I'm out on Browns.
Exactly. They don't give a shit about our fantasy team.
Right.
They want to evaluate DTR. That's it. There's nothing to evaluate left with Jameis. Jerome Ford did help me out last week. I'll probably roll with him. Maybe get some check downs. He ripped off that long run first carry of the game. That was shocking. Moving on to Dallas and Philadelphia, and I guess we're still kind of waiting on Jalen Hurts. Cowboys have been, giving on the outside here. Their corners have been pretty good. Anything stand out to you like AJ Brown or Skinny Batman in this one?
It's kind of tough without knowing who's playing quarterback. I would love to say this is an AJ Brown game all day. I know he's pretty matchup proof in general, but with no Hurts, it's just sometimes that offense on the passing side gets sluggish with Hurts.
Right.
Now you're going to put in Kenny Pickett. It's going to come to a halt here. So
what do you think of a Deron Bland shadow on AJ Brown? Because that's what we're projecting.
Yeah, Bland is probably a better corner than I thought he was. He wasn't doing the shadow stuff last year. This is kind of new for him. And,
absolutely.
He's held up pretty nicely against it. Trayvon Diggs is or the other corner, Jordan Lewis. Yeah, they've given up a lot, but Bland has been pretty steady. So I wouldn't say it's scary. It doesn't like I said, AJ Brown's matchup proof. If he's got Hurts and they're going to do their thing, it doesn't really matter. Just imagine it just really comes down to how much they're going to pass the ball, and we know the Cowboys aren't good against the run. Right, last 6 games, 5.2 yards per carry allowed. They've gotten to some weird game scripts where they haven't. They've blown out 2 teams recently, which is funny to say because it's Dallas Cowboys, but the other team didn't need to run the ball in either of those games. So,
yeah, and no CeeDee Lamb.
True.
The Eagles have been a slot funnel, no CeeDee Lamb. So I mean, these guys they're in trouble. I don't know what the hell they're going to do. Quite frankly, the Eagles have been pretty lights out here on the outside. They'll run the ball, probably play keep away here with Saquon. So I don't know, man. The one good thing is schematically for Rico Dowdle, it's not bad. The Eagles have not been that great on those zone concepts, basically, right?
Right. Yep. They have the opposite problem many teams have. I don't know what it is with the Y zone. I think it might just be they just play 5 DBs all the time, no matter what. So
yeah. I did kind of like Jake Ferguson last week, and that actually worked out. He got 10 fantasy points, but I'm not feeling warm and fuzzy this week.
So with him out, you don't like that because they're gonna have to throw the ball to somebody.
Yeah, I guess. Let me see what they've given up here to tight ends real quick. I can only go back. Yeah, I mean it's you could do worse. But I don't know.
And Chauncey Gardner-Johnson's probably out, right? Or is he? No,
but they have such good depth, man. I guess, yeah.
Chauncey's in. I thought he was going to catch a suspension, but he did not. So,
well, they have given up. Oh, that's right. They give up touchdowns. That's right. I did like Freiermuth 2 weeks ago, and I played his prop, and it was like plus 390, and he scored. All right. Well, there you go. You're hoping for a Jake Ferguson tutty, which they have not been coming this year. And he's usually a good end zone guy. I don't know what's going on. It's been a down year. Just like Jordan Love, the injuries just disrupted it, and then things spiraled out of his control, basically, I believe is what happened. Let's go to the next game here. I think we've covered this one. We're starting Saquon Barkley. Atlanta at Washington, and your thoughts on Michael Penix last week. It seemed like he kind of looked like a pro quarterback in some ways, protecting the ball, throwing accurate balls. I mean, it wasn't unbelievable, but it seemed like they managed him pretty well.
Yeah, it was a fine showing. The funny thing is that pick that he threw was that was the exact pick that got Kirk Cousins benched.
That is funny.
Literally like the same play, same throw is pretty funny. So
that is funny.
Playing a bad defense, though, they did a good job of kind of hiding him and allowing him to lean into his skill set a little bit. It still cracks me up. The dude can't throw on the run. Like it's physically impossible for him. It's so funny to me. But yeah, he looked good though. I think maybe a little shot in the arm. The run game though is just picking right now. So I think that's what they end up leaning on here too, right?
Oh yeah, and DC has been a run funnel.
Yeah.
Brian Robinson, I hate to say it, he might not be that good. Am I being too hard on him?
No, he's like in an ideal world, he's your number 2. He's your kind of do it all. That's the thing about it. He doesn't do one thing awesome.
Exactly.
He does everything just pretty good. He's just a good, solid NFL back.
Right.
You prefer to have someone better than him though.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I've been in on him, and it's mainly been because he's just been so cheap and all that. But yeah. Bijan crushing. And then Mooney was unlocked a little bit by Penix and Pitts. Oh my God. That was the biggest thing. Sometimes I try and will things to happen, and sometimes they happen. Like probably half the time it does happen. I'm on the right track. Just like Debo a couple of weeks ago, I was feeling like he's going to come back. He's going to do something, and then dropped a 20-yard touchdown. And then last week he did what I thought. But Pitts that's a different. He's dead. He is dead. Dead. And then Jaden Daniels. I mean, what else can we say? It's just been incredible. Any thoughts on this matchup here? I don't know about Noah Brown, still on IR, right? So good for McLaurin to continue to get the volume.
Yeah. I mean, and this is a good team to do it against. Falcons are giving up what? Gosh, a passer rating over 105 their last 6 games, completion percentage near 70%. I mean, they're just, not a very good defense. They do keep everything in front of them a little bit, though. They're not giving up a ton downfield, but still,
right.
Daniel should have plenty of opportunity to work here. Especially they have no pass rush either, right? So like Daniel should have all day to figure this out. He'll rack up the rushing yards. I haven't looked at Chris's projections this week. I would imagine he's got Daniels 1 or 2, probably with Allen being the other guy. But I'm going
to go look, but I want to know where he has Zach Ertz because I have a decision to make. And Ertz, what the hell happened last week? He's got Daniels at 1. I might start Noah Fant and you know what? I need to make that decision now. Oh man, it's either Ertz or Fant tonight. I think I'm going to go with Ertz.
You're the skank tight end guy.
I mean, exactly.
I'd go
exactly.
I think, but
yeah, I mean, but well, the way I look at it is I have Fan as my Thursday night special, and if he does score, I'm going to be pissed. But at least I'll be happy because I had him as the Thursday night special. It is a better matchup. They are giving up more. Damn it. Anyway, I'll think about this as I have 11 minutes before my deadline, maybe 8. All right, let's go to your Lions. That's it. Last game, your Lions. What do we have any concerns about if Minnesota loses that we might get some foot off the gas pedal here with Detroit?
No, because it doesn't matter. Still, the final it will still come down to the final game.
Okay.
So if Minnesota loses and they beat Detroit in the last week, they still win the division and get the number 1 seed.
How do they do that?
Sorry, they have a chance to, depending on strength of victory, I think is what it comes down to.
Wow.
Because the line, yeah. So they'll be one of 3 teams that beat the Lions. So their strength of victory is going to go through the roof. But it's still. Also, it's Dan Campbell, John. He's going to.
know.
He's not resting nobody. This is.
But the only thing that gives me a little pause is the Montgomery injury. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe we're not going to get a full Jahmyr Gibbs if they don't need him. But then again, they are playing the Niners. They're a good team. I don't think Kyle Shanahan on national TV. I don't think these dudes are laying down this week.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
All right, Noah Fant, or I also have Higbee.
No, go. You got to go Ertz. I'm looking right now. So Falcons last 5 games, a passer rating against of 127 to tight ends, 90.9% completion rate.
All right. Well, we're going Ertz. All right. Okay. All right. Well, good luck with Fanta Claus out there. I still think it's. I mean, it's one of those deals that like I'm not. Sometimes I'm more convinced than other times. But other times I'm just like, I'm feeling it. I don't have a ton of tangible. Well, actually I do. I mean, he's getting 3+ grabs every damn week. It is a pretty good matchup, but it's just like he's been so damn invisible this year. But I'm feeling it. But again, that could mean AJ Barner scores. Yeah. I mean, anything stand out to you in terms of the receivers? Of course, the old JMO versus Amon-Ra and versus Laporta.
You play them all.
Okay.
49ers defense has been struggling a little bit. Plus, I think Detroit actually will really want to win this game, considering how their season ended last year. I think it'll be a statement game for them.
True. That's true too. Yeah.
They play really well on the road too. They're 7-0 on the season on the road, or 8-0 on the season on the road. So very, very good road team. Yeah, I think you play them all. And then on the 49ers side, it's really tough for me to figure out. Lions play a ton of too high, which typically favors Debo. Problem is they play so much. And Brian Branch now is back in the slot. At least he was last week. I don't love Debo versus Brian Branch in any.
I don't either. No, I'm not feeling it.
Yeah. So the question will be, how much running back snaps does Debo get? And are they going to, we know the Lions can be beat, in gap concepts, but the 49ers have not done a lot of gap stuff. So
right.
I don't know. It's kind of like the 49ers will keep pace probably because their offense is still pretty good. It's just I don't know who it's going to go through. Maybe Juwan Jennings.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. They got Garendo coming back too this week.
Oh, okay. So maybe not as many running back snaps for Debo.
Yeah.
Kittle's great against man too. So it's just the Lions have been good against tight ends this year. I don't
exactly.
It's tough. It's a really tough one to figure out. But
although Kittle's been amazing, I mean, he's been incredible. I mean, this is the guy's aging like fine freaking wine over here. I was complaining about him like 5 years ago because of the availability stuff. He signed that contract extension and said, "Oh, great, now I can go hit people." I'm like, "No, dude, no, don't get hit." But yet he's been durable ever since he made those comments.
So especially this year,
unbelievable.
He's been. Yeah, you wonder too, as a guy matures, if he's on a different off-season training program, get the body right. Maybe. Also, I do think guys that size aren't supposed to move as fast as he does. Genetically, I think that's tough on the body. So.
I mean, he's HOF material here now.
Oh yeah, he's good. I mean, talent-wise, absolutely. I don't know if the resume will stack up when it's all said and done, but
I mean, he's trending that way though. If he can log maybe 2 more really good years, I think we're going to get like 55, 60 tutties. I think we're looking good here. Shout out to Travis Kelce for passing Tony Gonzalez. My Travis Kelce story, right? At the Combine.
I think so.
I would tell you that. It's very small, but I was a huge Kelce guy. So I go to the Combine, and this is back in Indy when they had a different setup. And you walk in there, and there was 8 or 9 podiums, and the elite players at each position, like 11 o'clock, it's tight ends. They get the podium. I walk into the room, and I'm just assuming I got to go to my boy Kelce. Where's the podium? And I'm like, he doesn't get a podium. And then because they put like the secondary guys at like their own table.
Yeah, off to like a little fold-out table.
Right. It was a little round table. And there he was, only 1 or 2 guys. So I pull up and I sit down. I was like, man, this is bullshit. I'm like, you need your own fucking podium. He was like, for real. And that was it. And then I told him the story years later. Then he came on the radio show, and all he did in that interview was predict Tyreek Hill's breakout season that year. Yeah, it was good. But yeah, on that note, I think we're good, and we did pretty well here at minute and 13. We even made some money.
Yeah.
So I will continue to break it all down for my article. I'll have the Saturday games up tomorrow, and then the Sunday games up on Saturday. Try to put it together as a one-stop shop to where it might be mostly my opinion, but mostly I'm using all the power of Fantasy Points data. We'll wrap it up here and watch the football game, which kicks off. I don't have to worry about Noah Fant because I'm going with Zach Ertz. Hopefully, I actually ran into Zach Ertz at a Starbucks in my old hometown right before he signed away from the Eagles. A very nice man. So I'm glad that I'm going to roll with him for the ship. We thank our guy Trey for keeping us on the air. We'll wrap it here. Good luck in week 17 for Brett Whitefield. I'm John Hansen. We'll catch you next time here at FantasyPoints.com.
What? Why are you shaking your head?
You're welcome.